if you've mastered that, you will be able to speak like an expert. Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. In today's lesson, we will be diving into the fascinating world of English conditionals. Conditionals might seem difficult at first, but once you understand them, you will be able to express everything from facts and reality to the most unlikely of dreams. By the end of this video, you will know how to distinguish each type of conditional, how to recognize them in everyday English, and how to use them confidently in your own conversations. Make sure you stay till the end because we will be exploring the most difficult type of conditional. And if you've mastered that, you will be able to speak like an expert. First, let's go over the main types of conditionals. On one side, you have the real conditionals, which fall into something we call the indicative mood. There's the zero conditional, which we use for facts and general truths. And there is the first conditional, which conveys real possibilities for the future. But then we move on to the more exciting conditionals, in my opinion, and those fall into the subjunctive mood. These are the unreal or hypothetical conditionals. We have the second conditional, which expresses hypothetical or unlikely situations in the present. And we have the third conditional, which imagines different outcomes in the past. Finally, you have something we call mixed conditionals, which combines elements of the second and third conditional, depending on whether the condition or the outcome is in the present or the past. Keep watching for memorable examples and a quiz at the end. Let's start with the zero conditional. This we use for facts or habitual truths, things that are always true when a certain condition is met. The structure is simple. It is if plus the present simple plus the present simple. For example, if you heat water to 100 degrees Celsius, it boils. That's scientific fact. Whenever you heat water to 100 degrees, it always boils. You might also find the zero conditional in everyday routines. For example, if I don't sleep well, I don't function properly the next day. Notice both the condition and the outcome are in the present tense because we are describing a consistent truth. The first conditional refers to possible or likely events in the future, contingent upon certain conditions being met. The structure is if plus the present simple plus will and the bare infinitive. Example, if I study hard, I will pass the exam. Here, the focus is on a realistic possible future scenario. We are expressing that studying hard is likely to lead to success in the exam. Another example, if we leave now, we will catch the train. Again, this scenario is plausible. It could happen, so we use the first conditional. Note, you can change it so that the outcome comes at the beginning and the condition at the end. We'll catch the train if we leave now. And when writing it, you then don't need the comma in the middle. So those were the two real types of conditional, the zero and the first. What about the hypothetical or the unreal, which in my opinion is much more exciting? Now, the second conditional we use to talk about unreal, hypothetical, less likely scenarios in the present or future. Its structure is if plus the past simple with the outcome would plus the bare infinitive. Note, we use the past simple in the conditional, even though we're discussing an unreal scenario in the present. If I won the lottery, I would travel the world. The speaker does not really believe they will win the lottery. It is highly unlikely that they would. He or she is imagining a situation, a dream situation in which they win the lottery. A popular musical reference using the second conditional is the Beyoncé song, If I Were a Boy. If I were a boy, I would understand. This is a hypothetical construction. She is imagining a scenario that isn't true. This also demonstrates something to remember. With the verb to be, it is always were, no matter what the pronoun is. So even the first person, which in the past simple is I was, it stays I were in the conditional. I wouldn't do that if I were you. If he were Prime Minister, he would reform education. Not if he was Prime Minister. This is because this conditional is in the subjunctive mood, and it keeps the same structure as the Latin and stays were in the condition. And we move to the third conditional. The third conditional helps us talk about regrets or past events that did not happen and would have changed the past outcome if they had. The structure gets a bit more complicated. It is if plus the past perfect plus would plus have and the past participle. If I had known about your party, I would have come. This indicates that the speaker did not come to the party because they were unaware of it in the past. They are imagining an alternate past in which they were aware and in which case they did come. This is particularly useful when discussing missed opportunities or reflecting on past events, how things could have been different in a different scenario in the past. For instance, if I had studied more, I would have passed the test. Here, the speaker is expressing regret for something that did not occur. And we move on to arguably the most difficult type of conditional, and that is the mixed conditional. Mixed conditionals can seem tricky, but they are a combination of the second and third conditionals. They let us talk about how a past hypothetical action can influence a present situation, or how a present hypothetical situation could have changed a past event. Essentially, it depends whether the conditional is in the present or the past, and whether it has a present or a past outcome. And it is those that determine which parts of the second and third that you use. For example, you can have a past situation that is different affecting the present. If I had studied business, I would earn more money now. The first part is the third conditional, past perfect, if I had studied, and the outcome is the second conditional, I would earn more money now, because you have a past event affecting the present. Now let's think about a present hypothetical situation that could have changed the past. If I were more outgoing, I would have made more friends at school. Again, the first part is a present hypothetical, so we use the if of the second conditional, if I were more outgoing, and the outcome has an effect in the past, so we use the third conditional, I would have made more friends at school. Now, mixed conditionals can seem complex and difficult, but they are extremely useful for nuanced English expression once you have mastered the basics. And you can do it. You can master the basics. To help on your journey, you could always subscribe. Are you ready for some extra fun? Let's look at some of these conditionals in songs and movies. We have obviously that famous second conditional, if I were a boy, I would understand. You also have the famous Chicago song, if you leave me now, you'll take away the biggest part of me. What type of conditional is that? It is the first conditional. Now let's think of an example from a movie. How about Field of Dreams? If you build it, they will come. Again, an example of the first conditional in a movie. And now look out for it, because there are so many examples in songs and TV shows and films. And these references help you see that the English language we study in textbooks is there in the world all around us. Now it's your turn. Let's see what you've learnt and have a little quiz. Write your answers in the comments. Complete the sentence. If I, superpowers, I, the world. Number 2, identify the conditional in this sentence. If you practice English every day, you will become fluent. And number 3, transform that conditional into the third conditional. If you practice every day, you will become fluent. Now make that a third conditional. Post your answers in the comment section below. Let's see who can get them all right. Congratulations! If you made it to the end of the video, you have covered all of the English conditionals, including the tricky mixed conditional. Understanding them is crucial for expressing possibilities, hypotheticals, and regrets. If you found this video helpful, please like and subscribe, and of course share it with any of your friends who are learning English. And now in your everyday life, whether you're chatting to friends, listening to the radio or a song, or watching a movie, try to listen out for those conditionals. Not only will it reinforce your knowledge, but it could spark an appreciation for the subtleties of the English language. Thank you for watching, and I look forward to seeing your creative conditionals in the comments below. Until next time, keep practicing, keep exploring, and always remember, if you keep learning, you will keep improving.